All right, so manifestation is so misleading. Not that I don't believe in manifestation, because I do. It's that it's not how it seems. Like, it seems like it's you manifest. Um, I want $100,000. I want it on my bed at 5 p.m. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like people think manifesting is this magical thing when it's not a new concept, right? Like, I think in that one book, Think and Grow Rich, like I listened to the audiobook of that, right? So I was like shocked because I'm like, yeah, that's manifestation. You think and you grow rich. But then that sounds so like out there where then people literally think they could just think and grow rich. When the truth is, you have to put in work. The truth is, you can't think yourself into getting in shape. The truth is, you can't think yourself into having better thoughts. Well, you kind of can with the thoughts thing. Like, you start changing thoughts, removing words and adding new words, removing old concepts, adding new concepts. But this requires you to look at yourself. So, like, if you want to start a business, it's going to require you to learn things about business. And it's going to require you to figure out what makes a business successful, what makes businesses fail, right? Like, it's on you to put the work in to figure out what works and what doesn't. And, like, if you want to try something, you got to try it. And if it fails, that's great because now you have lessons, knowledge that you could take with you into your next venture, whatever you're trying to do next. But if people think manifesting is just so, like, I don't know, there's people that don't believe in manifesting, but I'm like, I don't believe in the manifesting you're thinking about either, because the thing they're thinking about is thinking that you can think yourself into being rich, when no, you figure out what type of mindset do rich people have. I'm only using the rich thing as an example, but it's the same thing of what type of mindset do spiritual people have? What type of mindset do confident people have? What type of mindset do, like, you could figure this out with almost anything you're trying to do. Figure out, like, I forget what they call it. Like, when, like, if an aliens drop technology down here, we would have to, I forget the word, but we'd literally basically have to take the thing apart, put it back together, figure out all the parts, and we'd have to figure it out. That's the same thing with whatever you're trying to manifest. You see the thing you're trying to manifest. Just like if aliens left a spaceship here, we see the spaceship, but that doesn't mean we understand how it works. So, like, to understand how it works, we'd have to take it apart, do all these, figure out what are the parts made of. Like, this one piece might be made of four different metals or, like, whatever, but it's that whatever you're trying to do, you have to figure it out. And if you figure it out, you will manifest it, right? Like, manifest. See, it's not that I don't like that word, because I like manifest, like, I believe in manifestation, but I believe in action over thoughts. Like, I believe in just do shit, and then you'll get results from the shit that you did. If you just think shit, you're not going to get many results here in the real world. Now, thinking might help you mentally, right? Like working on your mental health, working on your mental strength, working on your mind in general. Like, that's going to take a lot of thinking. But that's the only thing that you can think yourself into bettering. Like, you could think yourself into thinking better thoughts, but you cannot think yourself into getting in shape. So it's like, I don't know. It's just hard. Like, and I get that it's hard because life is hard. I get it. Like, it was hard for me to get in shape. It was hard for me to get through the breakup I went through. It was hard for me to not become bitter and angry. It was hard for me to not lose myself. I almost, like, it was hard for me to stop self harming. right? When I used to cut myself, it was so fucking hard to stop. And like, it was hard to heal my anger issues. There's people that have never had anger issues that do not understand what it's like to have anger issues. There's people that, like the people that don't have depression don't know what it's like to have depression. The people that don't self-harm don't know what it's like to self-harm. And I'm like, it was so hard to better myself. The harder thing for me, this is why I picked bettering the self first, is bettering the life. Maybe because I grew up poor and it's like instilled in me, so it's so hard to get it out of me. But I figured it'd be easier to get it out of me if I was a different version of me. Like, I'm no longer the same person that I was 2 years ago. I'm damn sure in 2 years ago, I was not the same person I was 4 years ago. And like so forth and so on. And it's like, I figured working on myself, I could work on the other shit last, but that shit's so hard. The things that are easy for you are so hard for me. Just normal human shit, bro. Like normal human shit that most people think is just normal. It's just normal is not to me, and it's so hard to make it normal to me. It's so hard. So like I get it, but I know what I want, and I don't expect it to just magically land on my lap. I know that if I align myself with certain things do come towards you, like you will attract, because that's manifestation and the law of attraction are very similar, but they sound so woo woo that people take it kind of woo woo. They don't take it literally, or they don't break it down to a science or to like there's a process. There's a process to be able to attract things. So, like, if you are a negative person, you will naturally attract negative people. You will naturally, like, attract just negative things that'll keep you negative. But if you're a positive person, you will naturally attract positive people. But if you're a positive, happy fucking person, like just happy as shit, you will naturally repel the people that are like miserable. Because you know how like people will hate the happy guy. They'll hate the guy that's always happy. Like, oh, this guy's so happy. Look at him, he's so happy. But it's like, because he's so happy, he's repelling the people that are not. That's why those people say that, because they're not. And it's like, that's the law of attraction in the basic form, that you start thinking like a millionaire, like not think, because millionaires don't think about how they want to get rich. They're just in their process of their life. Like, you're in your process of your life, I'm in my process of my life, so it's just life. But the thing that the reason why a person isn't rich, or a person isn't spiritual, or a person isn't this, is because they're not resonating with the thing that'll put them in that place. Like, if your thoughts are resonating, your actions, what you do, what you think, all of these, if you can resonate them, you will start to attract the thing that you want, because it's that old saying, we don't attract what we want, we attract what we are. That's the problem. And like, in order to manifest, or in order to like do the law of attraction or any of that type of shit, it requires you to look at whatever you're trying to do. So like rich people, they don't have to look at themselves. It's not like they have to figure out their mind, their mental health, their spirituality and all that. That's like an inward thing. What they have to do is look outward at the thing they're trying to do. So then their mind is focused on starting this business, getting the inventory, figuring out how much profit will they make, paying their taxes, doing all like, and trying to figure out ways to not pay taxes legally, right? Like legally, but there's that's what they think about, right? And what does a spiritual person think about? Something different. Now, if you change your thoughts to be similar to the spiritual person, you'll have a similar result that the spiritual person has. If you change your thinking in your mental process to the same thing that the rich people do, you'll have a similar thing that they have. They might be making millions and you only might start out making thousands, but that's the start of attracting this thing. Becoming, oh shit, becoming this thing that you're trying to manifest or this thing you're trying to attract. Because it's about becoming something, not just attracting something or manifesting something. In order to manifest something, you have to become something that that thing would even want to be around. Like, I don't know. You're trying to manifest being a musician. If you're a painter and you're trying to manifest being a musician, like, that's what I mean. People will be trying to manifest, they're like, oh, I want to be a musician. I want to be a famous musician. But their whole childhood they've painted. And they just started making music 4 days ago. Like, that's what I mean. Their brain hasn't, they are not the musician. Like, fuck the famous part. Like, are you actually just a musician? Is that what you actually do? Like, because that's what I mean. Fuck the famous part. Fuck, like, I wasn't worried about, like, I don't want to be a famous philosopher. I'm just a philosopher. That's just what I am. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I didn't want to be anyone else's shaman. I didn't want to start having circles around the fire. No, I was on this journey to become a modern day shaman. So then I became something that then attracted that result to me. Where like now it's just what is. Because I started living a shamanic lifestyle. I started taking the plants shamanically. I started thinking shamanically. I started whatever, so it's what I became. I started working out. I used to only do like 50 push ups once in a while. But once I started adding this thing into my life every week, like sometimes I take 2 week breaks, but like for the most part, I work out almost every week. And it wasn't until I added that into my routine where now it's just life. Like I don't think about working out. It's just what I do. I don't think about using psychedelics or meditating or any of this. It's just life to me. Like you don't think about what you do. You just do it because it's just life to you. And we don't realize that we can change that. And that's what manifestation is. That's what that is. Changing what is just life to us. So like if in life you're like, oh, I have depression, I have anxiety, whatever, people will get to the point where that's just life, so they're not really doing anything about it. Maybe they'll take some pills, or maybe they'll smoke some weed, or maybe they drink some alcohol to try to numb themselves, or maybe they're trying to deal with it, but they're just putting a band-aid on a gunshot wound when really they need to go inside the wound, remove the bullet, like heal it. Maybe they need to cauterize it, maybe whatever the fuck you need to do, but it's that process that sucks balls that will actually get you to be healed. It's that process that sucks balls that would get you to actually have a business that's working for you. Like if you're like, oh, I hate my job, I don't want to work. Okay, well, then you got to think of a different way. Like you have to think of a different way. And if not, then don't expect a different result. And then that's the problem. People will, they're not thinking of a different way, but they know what they want. They're like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. I really want to do that. And I don't want to live like this. And I don't want to, but it's like, okay, it's great that you know what you don't want. And it's great that you know what you do want. But do you know the steps that it's going to take to get to where you want to go? Because that's how you manifest. Figuring out the steps and worrying about the first step. Then worry about the second step. Then you worry about the third step. Like it's good to know where your end destination is, but like if you focus on the end destination, it's just gonna fuck you up. So this is why you gotta be in the moment, be in the now, and it's like figure out what you can do now that'll get you one step closer to where you wanna be. So like years ago, I just knew that I wanted to be me, like the man I am today. I just wanted to be the best version of me. I just wanted to be me. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but growing up as a kid, I just got so lost being the thug dude, doing this because I think I have to, and talking like this because I think I have to, and doing this because I think I have to, and it's like I just knew what I wanted because I knew what I didn't want to be, but I knew that it was going to take so long that I couldn't even think about it. Right? So like back in the day, like I thought I was this version of me, but there was always something in me that knew that there's something off. I can't put my finger on it. I couldn't whatever, but I knew there was something off within myself. And so I started slowly working on that thing, manifesting the man that I am today. Like I manifested the best version of myself. But I didn't really it's not like I magically became the best version of myself. There was so much bullshit work and so many fucked up things that I needed to go through to become the best version of myself. And I'm still not the best version of myself because I'll never be the best version of myself, but I can always continuously grow. So that's what I do. But even though I grow, I love who I am. Like I love the person I was when I was that thug dude. I loved who I was at that, but I'm just me, right? And I was whatever. And then when I started self harming and all that, it wasn't because I didn't like who I was. It was because I was fucking sick of the life that I was living, and I felt stuck, and I felt trapped, and I felt this, and I felt that, and but it's like step by step, little by little, I became the man I am today. Now, step by step, little by little, I'm going to do the next thing I want to manifest, which is just the normal shit that almost every one of you have. Just the normal things in human life. Like, just whatever. Bro, I've grew up so poor that, like, I don't even really talk about it because it'd be a little embarrassing. But, like, it's just is what is for me. It's what life has been for me. And I see that the problem is just when you say this is just life, you think the life you're living right now is just life, but it's not. Life can be whatever the fuck you want it to be, but life is whatever you are. Your life is whatever you are. So, like, my life became shamanic because I became a shamanic person. I became spiritual. I became the type of person that works out all the time. So, of course, I got in shape. Like, it reminds me of that. I heard Tony Robbins talking once, and he was talking about quitting cigarettes and how the key is, like, if you just quit cigarettes and, like, or if, like, you quit cigarettes for, like, 6 months, and then you have another person who's never smoked a day in their life, um, you offer them both a cigarette. The person that's never smoked a day in his life is going to be like, bro, no, like, I'm not a smoker. The other person might be tempted if they haven't switched it in their mind to say they're not a smoker. Like, if you are not a smoker, you know it down to your bone. It's just that's not you. You're not going to smoke. Like, for me, I don't smoke cigarettes. I've never smoked a cigarette. Well, I can't say that. I've smoked a couple cigarettes when I was like a teenager, but it was stupid to me because at that point I've already smoked weed. So it was just boring and stupid, and I didn't understand why the fuck people smoke it because it didn't get me high. It didn't really do much, and weed does so much more, but it's also an addictive substance. So if you get addicted to it, it's whatever. But like, basically, it's about are you a smoker? If you think to yourself, I quit cigarettes, but if you still think you're a smoker, like you are a smoker that quit, you might pick up again because you are a smoker. You just don't smoke right now. Like, you see what I mean? Like, if you can switch that in your mind to be like, no, I'm not a smoker. It's just not who I am. I don't drink alcohol. Like, cigarettes and alcohol are like the most normal drugs in the world, but they're the things that I didn't even like. Like, there was nothing stopping me from not being a drinker or not smoking. Like, my mother smoked cigarettes. So, like, what why did I not smoke cigarettes? Because I stole one of her cigarettes when I was a teenager and I thought it was stupid. I thought there was no point to it. It doesn't get me high. Like it's boring. So then drinking alcohol, I kind of felt the same thing. Like I like drugs that make me feel extremely. That's why I love psychedelics, right? They make you feel more. Like drinking alcohol, it's almost like an absence of feeling. Like it almost numbs you and then it makes it so it's hard to think. And I hate that. That shit scared the fuck out of me. I don't want to not think. I love the fact that I think. I've worked very hard to be able to think the way I do. So, because that's another thing. It's funny. I manifested my own mindset. I manifested how strong my mind is. I manifested the way I think. The way I think has kind of always been the same. It's just what I think about is now different. But like, it's like I manifested my mind, so I value my mind. So I'm like, no, I don't want to drink or do any drug that risks me not being able to think. Um, but like, I don't know. It's this weird thing that we can manifest anything: a mindset, healed mental health, an in shape body, getting rich, um, whatever you want to do, getting the most beautiful woman you want, or all of these things are great. But you know how, like, maybe I'll do this for another video because I was gonna say, you know how, like, people will be like, they'll be trying to get girls and they'll be like, how to pick up girls, or, and like, I hate that shit because it's like, the way I think about it is the same way, like, I think about all this other shit. How to get girls is, do you even know what that girl likes in a man? Now, every girl is different, but there is basics that you can have that you can whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, these men are trying so hard to get the girl, but you wouldn't have to try harder if you were the best version of yourself. You wouldn't have to try that hard. If the better you become as a man, the easier it'll be to get women. Like, that's just how it is. So, I don't know, the more like a rich person you are, the easier it'll be to get rich. The more like a spiritual person you are, the more, like, if you're like a philosopher, it'll be easier for you to become a philosopher. If you if you already slightly work out once in a while, it'll be a little easier for you to start working out every week compared to someone who doesn't work out at all. If you like take psychedelics spiritually, like, and you if you already know how to meditate, taking psychedelics spiritually is going to be so much easier for you. If you don't know how to meditate, taking psychedelics spiritually is going to be a little bit